let's make this happen. So thanks for having me.
Yep.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah. So I'm recording now. If you guys, everybody see record over there? Everybody good?
Yep. Yeah, we're all good.
Awesome. So, like I said, we got Jay Siemens, superstar here from Canada. And I have a few questions for you later on. Remind me. My daughters and my wife wanted me to ask you. I'll ask at the end.
Boy. All right. I'm ready.
Good questions, though. Don't worry about it. But once again, like I said, myself and Kit, super excited to have you just kind of join us on this podcast and let us get an opportunity to pick your brain a little bit, learn more about fishing up north and just fishing overall. I have a passion for fishing, but I'm still a beginner of learning all the tips and techniques and all that good stuff. So, but thank you so much for joining us here on Beer Fish Fanatics. And I always start with a beer. So today, this is the closest beer that we could get up north.
Oh, nice.
From Iowa.
I saw Wisconsin on there, maybe, or what was that?
You got it. Nice. Yeah, you got it. So New Glarus here. Thank you to my cousin who just went to Wisconsin recently, got these spotted cow for us, Jimmy. I'll give a shout out to him. He gave us a couple beers here. He said, you know what, on your next podcast, he said, you got to have this beer. I said, all right, I'll crack it for you. Thank you so much, man. So,
and you know what? Hey, I forgot my beer, but cheers anyways. I would say if I would bring a beer, it'd probably be the local brewery in Kenora. It's called Lake of the Woods Brewery, Lake of the Woods Brew Co. And they've got a brew pub that just has blown up over the last couple of years. And they have a blueberry beer. Ooh. And it's incredible. It's 7% alcohol. So it's one of those beers that you have one and that's perfect. Like, it's not a type of beer that you would drink multiple, but it's a very unique beer and everyone in the region is familiar with it. It's a favorite for a lot of people. So that'd probably be my favorite, yeah.
Hopefully, once this COVID thing goes down, I'm going to make a trip.
Come to Kenora, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely got to make a trip. Because obviously seeing all the types of fish you catch, trust me, I definitely want to get.
We're spoiled up here. We're spoiled. I mean, I go fishing and I look at my window, Lake of the Woods, and that's my home now. Oh, and I'm like, this is people's vacation. They come once a year and they think about Lake of the Woods all the time. And I can just be on the lake in 5 minutes. So I kind of have to pinch myself. And I didn't always live here. I lived in southern Manitoba, probably similar to where you guys live, like in the prairies, kind of like agriculture all around and not a ton of lakes. But now I'm like right in the heart of all of it. And it's incredible. Yeah.
That's pretty badass. Well, cheers. I know. So in case anybody's wondering, Jay did do a nice shot of Fireball right before us. So he went hardcore on that. So cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
That is damn good.
So you're a craft beer guy, Jay?
Yeah, I would say more so. I'm more of a craft beer than a Bud Light or a Busch Light guy. I would say that, yeah.
That makes you a little bit cooler.
A little bit cooler, yeah.
I think you just hit like a 10 on my scale because, I'm pretty big on craft beer because at one point before my kids and everything, I brewed beer for a little bit. So I kind of got into it. So that's cool to have somebody who can appreciate good beer, right?
My neighbor brought over some beer the other day and he said it's homebrew and I said, oh, what's it called? And he said, oh, it's called Int. It's called Int beer. And I'm like, Int beer? I'm like, oh, okay, I've never heard of that. Is that like an IPA? So I take a couple sips. I'm like, it's good. And he said, do you want to know what Int is? And I'm like, yeah, sure. He says it stands for it's not terrible.
There you go. That sounds good. Yeah. I watched a couple of your videos recently and I saw how has COVID affected like the fishing up there? Because I know not a lot of U.S. citizens are flying. They can't go into Canada without being quarantined, right? Or can't even. I don't think we can even go, actually.
Essential workers can make it in, but that's about it. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like people are coming in and fishing.
So I'm assuming that's affecting like the guide business. I mean, so that's why I'm wondering, like, I mean, how is that really affecting that and what are they doing with that?
Yeah. So a lot of the work that I do, probably my bigger single client / sponsor is Manitoba Tourism. So I do a lot of work with them. That's my home province. It's scary because so many of these lodges are fly-in lodges. So there's kind of two sides to the whole thing happening right now. There's fly-in lodges and then there's your drive-to lodges. The fly-in lodges rely probably 80 to 90% American guests, maybe 95%. It's like all Americans that fly up there and they're like more expensive lodges. Some of them you're spending, upwards of $1,000 a day to be there. So they're pricey to go up there, right? Mm-hmm. Those fly-in lodges are they're hooped. They can't get across the border. The beauty of these drive-in lodges is even though they are maybe, let's say 60% American clientele normally, those Americans have booked the same dates for year after year after year. So some of these lodges have been booked for the last 20 years by the same people. And now they can't come up. So there's Canadians that are getting opportunities to fish these primetime dates on all these prime lodges. And I talked to one lodge in northern Manitoba, and they said that this is like shaping up to be a record year for them, even though the border's closed, because Manitobans or people from Northwest Ontario, they can't travel far. They're not flying. They're not going to exotic places. So boat sales are up. RV sales are up. More people are golfing than ever. More people are fishing than ever locally because they're finding alternative things rather than going and, traveling the States or going to Hawaii or something. It's like they're stuck, at home. So there's good side and bad side. On Lake of the Woods, normally it'd be buzzing every weekend with boats, a lot of American boats, and now it's just quiet. So it's kind of cool because the fish are kind of getting a chance to like have a break for a year, almost like this stronger spawning year and all that. So it's very interesting. It's something that I don't think anyone ever expected to see, but
dang Americans.
So
hey, they keep the economy going.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're just mentioning like what kind of species, obviously in Iowa, we're not going to get the same species that you guys get at Lake of the Woods. What kind of species you get there, and do you target the most, I guess you could say?
Yeah, so Lake of the Woods has like a bit of everything. It doesn't have as many like rough species like catfish and carp and that stuff, but it's got smallmouth, largemouth, black crappies, lake trout, whitefish, pike, walleye, musky, tiger musky, perch, burbot. I don't know what else I'm missing. Sturgeon. So it's pretty interesting. So Lake of the Woods borders Manitoba, Ontario, and a bit of Minnesota. And all the best fishing is in basically the Ontario section. It's got the most islands. It's got the most diversity. There is good fishing in the States, but it's interesting right now because how the border is working is you can boat right up to the border, but you can't cross it. So you'll see when I'm fishing in Canada, you'll see American boats fishing right up against the border, but they can't cross.
Wow. So,
and I've heard of boats sneaking across and fishing in the Canadian side and then getting busted and getting massive fines. So obviously it's not worth it. Yeah. But it's a weird deal, Yeah. Apparently the lodges on the American side are doing better than ever because, people are doing what they can in their home state. They can't come into the Canadian side. So they're just visiting lodges in the Minnesota side.
Is the border like on the lake?
Yeah, it's really weird. I wonder if I could. I'll show you 1 second. I'll try to pull this off.
Okay.
If you're out on the water, how do you know like where's the farthest you can go?
Let me give you guys a quick little rundown. Can you see that? It's huge. The lake is huge.
That is enormous. Yes.
So that section right there, there's a line that runs right there. That's Minnesota, basically, and that's all Ontario. So people can only fish up until that line. So you can see all the islands and all the crazy stuff is up there. And then that's a little piece of Manitoba right there. So it's, Ontario's where you want to be on for a lot of this stuff, for a lot of the multi-species fishing.
So if anybody's listening to this on the podcast, Jay just pulled up a map and really educated us on the geographics of that. So that's actually really cool. I didn't know like how different it was where the U.S. part, the Manitoba, and Ontario part. So that's actually pretty cool. That's unique.
It's a pretty neat lake because the actual part of Minnesota that sticks up, if you ever zoom in on a map, it's like apparently the story is back in the day when they were surveying the land, there was an error made, and they accidentally gave Minnesota a bunch because it's like it juts up right into Ontario, and it doesn't make sense why that would be Minnesota. So it's interesting. If you ever cross the border there's a place called Jim's Corner, and it's a phone booth. And you go inside, you pick up this phone, and it's got a little video camera on it, and they can see your face, and you call a crossing. And when you pick up the phone, it'll go to any crossing across the North America or the Canada-U.S. border. So you'll pick it up, and you might be calling somewhere in like Sault Ste. Marie, or you might be calling somewhere in Vancouver. And they're like, Jim's, where are you crossing? You're like, I'm crossing at Jim's Corner. You give them the passport number, and they just let you cross. There's like never a guard there. So it's kind of a weird deal.
That is okay. We gotta make I think Fishing Kit and I, we're gonna make a trip up there as soon as this thing is done. And I think we're gonna probably do ice fishing. I mean, we're pretty big into ice fishing.
Nice. Oh, it's Sunset Country's like Sunset Country and Manitoba. They're like the two meccas for ice fishing right in the middle there. There's so much to do.
We'll definitely hit you up on that because
absolutely, please do.
We gotta go check that out because I'm super excited. I want to go to Canada and just see because I went to Vancouver I think last year. So that was fun, but I definitely want to see a different side of Canada. So that'd be kind of cool. Speaking of, because I saw you recently too. You got into kayak fishing a little bit more.
I did.
Yeah, because Kit here, he's pretty big into kayak fishing.
Nice.
I just jumped back into it because after having 4 kids, I was like, I sold my original kayak, but then now I just did it and asked for forgiveness later.
My advice.
Yeah.
Kids advice, he goes, just ask for forgiveness later.
Yeah.
So kayak fishing, man, tell me a little bit about that. How's that been for you? I saw how you kind of really starting to get into it. What do you think that versus, regular boat fishing? I mean, what do you think?
The reason I think ice fishing is getting so popular is because it's so accessible. You can get to spots if there's ice roads on the lake that anyone can get to. You buy a shack, your total investment, you can get a shack and a heater and a flasher, and you're spending like $1,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go out on the boat, you're instantly a couple, like $5,000-$10,000 in. Plus, if you want to get graphs and everything, like it's easy to spend $40,000 on a boat, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it's the same way how ice fishing is growing so fast because it's so accessible, everyone can do it. I think kayak fishing is that same. There's the beauty to it that you can just get on a kayak. And the other part that I love is I would fish a new lake every day if I could. When I go out, I'm fine getting skunked half the time because I just want to go fish a new lake. I would rather go get skunked on a new lake than do mediocre on a spot I've been to before, right? Because that's how you hit home runs, right? You got to take chances, check out new lakes, just see more of the country, right? So the kayak has allowed me that freedom to just be like, okay, that doesn't have a boat launch, but I can drop my kayak in it. My kayak fits in the back of my truck. And I knew as soon as I got a kayak, I'm like, I want a trolling motor on this. Like, I will paddle if I need to. And I know like a kayak purist might be like, that ain't it. But I'm like, no. Like a trolling motor is just, you can actually fish. I can stand in my kayak. I got a very wide kayak specifically for that, the widest one I could find, because I wanted to stand and fish. I wanted a trolling motor with a, an anchor feature that I could cast and stay on a spot. So that was important to me when I got into kayak fishing. Obviously, I don't have the most agile kayak. It's not like I can carry it over my back into another lake, but as long as I get my truck close to the lake, I can drag it in. And with my trolling motor with a lithium battery, I could, go 10 miles down the lake sort of thing, which is pretty tough if you're paddling and you want to do that in one day sort of thing. So yeah, no, it's been good. I love kayak fishing. Yeah.
What kind of kayak do you have?
So I have a new canoe, Frontier 12.
Oh yeah, the Spencer from River Certified. I think that's what he runs.
Nice. Yeah, it's heavy. It's kind of a pig as far as I think a lot of fishing kayaks are probably big, but just it's so stable. Like when I first got it, I tried to tip it, and you're sooner gonna fall off than you're actually gonna tip the kayak. Yep.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's with a lot of the kayaks. At least the higher end. You're right. I think you're gonna fall off before to force it to tip is very difficult. Actually.
Yeah.
Thinking about that too. Should I put a trolling motor too? Because I know Kit's got a pedal. He's got a Hobie and he's got a pedal one.
Yeah. All those pedal ones look pretty good too.
Yeah. They look so easy.
They're fun.
Yeah.
But hopefully, I don't know. We'll see one day. I gotta fight my battles one at a time.
Yeah, exactly. You got a kayak, so that's a good start.
There you go. And then ice fishing, man. I mean, I think I got into it maybe about 10, or not even, no, probably like 6-7 years ago. I really got into ice fishing quite a bit. Yeah. And then I got I broke Kit's cherry onto the ice and everything.
Nice.
So
sure did.
Yeah, and he's in search for lake trout. So I took him last year to Colorado because my in-laws got me to ice fishing in Colorado.
Yeah,
and we took like a massive hike to try and find lake trout of trophy lake trout. Of course, first day or two we got skunked. It was horrible. It was cold and what. I guess you could say, what's your tips for lake trout? Because I know I see some of your videos. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody's going to see your videos that I'm going to post up. But what's your go-to tip for lake trout?
For lake trout? I think, the number one bait across the board is a tube jig, without a doubt. A lot of people would say a white tube jig, like a bass tube jig, maybe a little bit bigger, maybe like a 4-inch or 5-inch. Some people use like big 10-inch tubes, depending on the size of your lake trout. Another thing is lake trout can kind of be picky. Sometimes they're aggressive and they'll crush everything, but a lot of times they want some meat and they need scent to bring them in as well. They can be very frustrating, and chumming is a very, very key thing. If you're lake trout fishing the same area day after day, like I've been on shoots where we'll just keep going back to the same spot and it's like, why are we going back? We didn't see any fish yesterday. And then day 2, you see a couple more fish. And then all of a sudden, day 3, it's a shark tank of fish down there because you're just throwing down more and more chum every day, and it just brings fish in. And because some of the lake trout lakes you fish, some of them have nice structure, but some of them, they're cruising these big basins that are 200 feet deep and there's nothing really holding them on a specific spot. So then sometimes chumming them will actually concentrate them a little bit more and get them more willing to feed. So yeah, like cutting up suckers, ciscos, whitefish, that sort of stuff. So it's always a hunt when we're going lake trout fishing, is finding good fresh bait. And yeah, sometimes they can be pretty picky too. Sometimes some of the biggest lake trout you catch are like laying big dead baits on bottom. Like you'll use a quick strike rig like you'd use for pike, and that's how you catch lake trout, which isn't as much fun as seeing a laker strike up and like cruise up and strike your tube halfway up the water column. But you know, sometimes whatever it takes, right?
Yep. As long as you catch, right, Kit?
Yeah, that sounds so cool. Like 200 feet sounds insane because like Iowa's deepest lake is maybe 100 at the most, and it's like one lake. Is that normal up there? Like
no, I mean, I wouldn't say there's lots. There's a couple lakes that are, you know, over 200 feet, but I mean, there's a lot of 80 to 100 foot water in a lot of the lakes here.
It's very rare. We don't have that in Iowa. We don't have that deep of lakes here where we ice fish.
Yeah.
That would be well, I mean, the biggest fish I ever caught through the ice was in Denver, and it was in about like 80 feet deep.
Oh, really?
There. So yeah, it was. Trust me, it was completely different from fishing a 25-foot, you know, drop that I'm so excited to catch a 10-inch crappie. So, you know, in Iowa sometimes. But Kit here, do you guys have wipers or anything up there in Canada?
No wipers. We've got striped bass on the East Coast. Okay. That's the only place in Canada that really is striped bass. And then there's white bass all around, but not, I don't think, unless they are stocked in some pond somewhere. I mean, like that's a genetic thing, right? They don't cross in the wild, do they?
I think they're all hatchery fish.
Yeah. I've caught wipers, but that was like in Texas. I haven't caught any here.
Well, you'll have to make a trip here one day.
You've got some big ones.
Double digits. I mean, you can get double digits. 10 pounders here and there. Nice. I think Kit catches quite a bit of them than me. You know? Yeah.
My biggest probably like 15, but like they stock them all around our lakes to control shad. And I'm just starting to figure out them through the ice, and they're a blast through the ice.
That's cool. I can't imagine through the ice. Yeah.
Yeah, he got me on. I think a year or two ago, he got me on the wipers through the ice.
2 seasons ago. It was 2 seasons ago.
Unbelievable. Like the fight that it did, I was just like, whoa! It just and then you got to imagine it, we were only fishing maybe about 25 to 30 feet of water, so you can just imagine where they're going left and right and yeah, so you got to come make a trip down to Iowa one time.
Once the border opens, I want to do a big road trip. Like I'm ready to. I got the travel bug, but I mean, luckily there's lots I can do around here. Yeah. But I'm excited once whenever the border opens. Who knows? Could be a while yet.
Yeah. I think it will be a while actually. Yeah. We'll see. Hope for the best. That's all we can do at the moment. Yeah. So. And then I think I watched one of your most recent videos. So when did you start scuba diving, man? I just saw
that was
What came out with the idea on that? Because the reason, man, I saw you. Well, the first one I saw you scuba dive was when you were you guys went to go find some people who dropped their fishing poles and all that. Yeah, rods up. And then the last one, I think I was just talking to Kit before you jumped on. You caught a smallie underwater. That was badass, man. I'm not gonna lie.
That was an idea that I had for a while, and I'm not the first person to do it by any means, but so I got scuba certified. It was pretty good because I moved to Kenora like 2 years ago, and then just last fall I'm like, oh, there's a scuba shop like just like 8 houses down from where I live is the scuba shop in town. So they were doing a course in the fall time, so I got certified, and I'm like, man, the potential, because I don't just make YouTube videos. I still do, productions and shoot some client work. So I was like, okay, well, that'd be good for client work. And then there's so much potential with YouTube videos too. And there's people that do, the scuba videos, like D Almighty is a huge YouTuber who's got, I don't know, like 12 million subs or something. He's done fishing videos. Now he does scuba stuff. And I was like, man, his videos are really interesting. And the scuba stuff just, I think, appeals to a broader audience too. Sometimes the fishing stuff is very niche. Mm-hmm. So I thought, you don't have to be a fisherman to appreciate me going and recovering a fishing rod, but I still wanted to keep it like fishing related. So, I mean, I don't know. I think you can reach more people just because the scuba stuff's, it's easy to just watch. And it's like, you can tell what I'm doing. I'm trying to catch fish underwater. I'm not like talking about some very, in-depth finesse smallmouth technique. It's like, here's a Ned rig, here's an ice rod. I'm going to go try to catch smallmouth underwater. And I don't know. It's just fun for me so I can learn what the fish are doing. And I become a better angler. It's an easy way to create content. And yeah, just different. I mean, kids are always asking me, they're like, Jay, I want to start a YouTube channel. Like, how do you grow it? And I'm like, you have to be different. I'm like, if you try to be the next John B, you're not going to be. You've got to have something that's unique, right? So that's, I know people do scuba, but I was like, you know what? There's not a lot of people doing scuba and freshwater fishing, so I'll incorporate it and see.
Actually, kind of leads into what I think Kit and I want to talk with you about, like I'm pretty sure you got kids or just people in general just reaching out to you. How do I start a YouTube channel? I know how to become successful, but what do you like? My main question is like, where do you see it going? First of all, because I mean, I totally get that you want to be different and everything, and you just get content, create all this stuff, right? But my main question is, where do you see fishing in YouTube? Where do you see YouTube, and how do you see that going to expand? What do you think? Or is it at the pinnacle? What do you think?
Oh, I think this is just the beginning. It's so interesting. Have you guys heard of uncut angling?
Yeah.
Okay. I love Aaron, man.
Okay.
Come on.
So that's where I got my start. I started filming for a channel called Uncut Angling. Like, Aaron's an OG. Like, he started when no one took YouTube fishing seriously.
Yeah.
And I have seen just the industry change from, it was so interesting because when Aaron started, it's just like, people are like, why do we want to be involved? Like, we'd rather do TV. What's the deal with YouTube? And then now people are like, we need YouTubers, we need influencers. And it's just like the tables have turned, before we were just like, why would you want to advertise? And now it's just, I don't know. For myself, I don't have TV. I watch Netflix if I'm going to watch some produced shows, but like, if I want to watch 90% of the content I consume is on YouTube. And I think that's the future. People are just watching YouTube. And the thing about YouTube too, is it's just so much easier to track. I can tell where people are watching from, their age, TV, you couldn't do that either. So for sponsors too, there's more tangible numbers behind all of it. And I think there's a chance for that to be more a business as well. Right. And I also think the beauty of YouTube is everyone can find something that they want. They're not stuck to the same reruns of whatever show might be on TV, and TV still has its place, but it's changing so fast because people want current. They don't want to wait a year. They want to see what I'm up to or what whoever's up to right now. So the thing about TV is you're always on a cycle. So it's like the shows you're watching are a year old. The shows you're watching on YouTube from John B are from 2 weeks ago, right? Or a week ago or the day before. So I think that is something that people, they like living through other people and living through their experiences. And I think you feel more of a connection through YouTube. I think TV feels a little more distant too, because it's sometimes too produced that you lose that relationship, right?
Yes, definitely spot on that, because I think if you're wanting to watch something that's super produced, super edited and everything, you can watch it on Netflix, like you were just saying.
Yeah.
But if you want to watch something that's current, live, or pretty current, like you're saying, YouTube is and it's free. First of all, I mean, I can just jump in and you can watch that. Yeah, I'm pretty big fan of Uncut Angling of Aaron. We watch you guys. I've watched you guys since you guys started, actually, I believe. So definitely entertaining. It was kind of cool to see how you guys have grown. Progress. I guess you could say in the past, like it's about 3 to 4 years. I think I've seen the exponential growth of you guys. And then when did you? I guess you could say like when you really got into starting your own fishing channel and everything. What was it that started getting you to just blow up? I guess, did you notice? Was it specific content? Was it the amount of content you put out, or was it just the way you produced it? Or
I don't think it's one specific thing, but I think like one thing that gave me a big leg up right off the start is just I was surrounded by Alex Peric is a friend of mine, and with Aaron Weeb, it's just like I remember as soon as they mention you, then all of a sudden like collaborations are one of the best ways for growth on channels, right? So collabs are huge. Doing a video or two with Aaron, and just obviously the work I'd done with Aaron leading up to it now. I don't know. It's just, trying to do something different. I knew right away. Are you guys familiar with who Peter McKinnon is?
Yes.
So Peter McKinnon does incredible videography and photo tutorials. Amazing. He's a Canadian, and he just blew up. He went from 0 subscribers. I think he hit 1 million. I don't know if it was he might have hit 1 million in 9 months. I think went from no subs to 1 million in 9 months. Yeah. And I was like, wow, I thought YouTube was like, that was tough to grow like that anymore. But he kind of showed people it was still possible.
No, I think it's like what you're saying though. What the content he was putting out, I mean, it hit people and it was good stuff.
It was a good quality. It was a good hybrid. And then when I saw the Peter McKinnon stuff, I was like, I want to take that and I want to try to do that in the fishing world, like to have the cinematic flair, but then also the vlog style too. So like I would say that was one of my biggest inspirations at the start, was just like, I liked what he's doing with the B-roll and kind of the cinematic sequences and kind of the hybrid. And I was like, I could see myself doing that, because sometimes when you're fishing, you can't always do the high-end fancy stuff. You just need it to be raw, and you need to have a GoPro rolling all day or a GoPro on your chest, and that's how you're going to capture the fish. If you're not doing that, it'll be pretty tough unless you have a dedicated cameraman. And on the other side, I'm like, man, but I want to get cool drone angles and I want to get slow-mo. So it's like, I'm going to, try to merge those two. And that's kind of what's been the goal over the last couple of years, and always experimenting. Like, I'm always trying something different, like, or trying to, at least. I never want to have it be, stale.
Speaking of something different, are you you and Sam going to really start doing your guys' own plastics for real?
No. We've got a couple messages about that. And I was just like, we're not going to do things on a big enough scale for that. We joked about it. I'm like, Sam, I'm sure we could sell these. But it's like, you know what? By the time you ship it and everything, like, we need to be mass producing it to be doing that. So yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. We make enough for ourselves. I've loved getting into lure making, and I'm sure you could help us promote if we wanted to launch our lure business. But no, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Darn, man. I was like, no, I saw the episode. I was like, that's actually some pretty legit lures, man. I was like, I'd pay for that. I was like, that's kind of cool how you guys how you actually showed how you actually do it. That was actually really cool.
Yeah. It's fun. I think Do It Molds is from Iowa. I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah,
I think those molds were from Iowa. I think,
yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So, but that episode was pretty.
Thank you.
I was like, I was hoping you guys were gonna make your own. I'm like, I would get some.
Maybe we can send you some. We'll get you a little pro staff package.
People would buy it. I know people would buy it.
What is your favorite species of fish? I don't know if anybody's ever asked you. I'm pretty sure everybody's asked you. What's your favorite species of fish to target?
Oh, I got another picture here. This is just so happened to be here. This is probably one of my favorite pictures I've ever taken, actually. It's kind of reflecting here. That's my buddy Clayton Schick. He's a YouTuber in Canada as well.
Yeah.
And that's a huge tarpon in the Florida Keys.
Tarpon?
And yeah, so, I mean, that's probably a weird answer for a guy from Canada to say, but I've been very, very blessed, very fortunate to travel to some cool places and fish for some cool stuff. And it's like, tarpon are the ultimate. They are just... You do not know what to expect. You hook one. There's never been a fish where I like hook it and I'm like, I have no idea if I'll be able to land this fish. You hook a 4-pound bass and it's like, this fish is 4 pounds. What could he possibly do? Maybe he could swim into a dock. You hook a tarpon and it's like, this thing might spool me. This thing might get eaten by a shark. It might go through the bridge and break the line. Like, there's just, I think fishing in the ocean too, there's just so many more variables and unpredictable things that happen. But tarpon are just, you hook 10 of them and you might get like one to the boat. And even if you get it to the boat, that doesn't mean you're getting a picture with it. It might still break your line right there or throw the hook. But freshwater, probably muskies. Like Lake of the Woods muskies are a lot of fun.
I've never caught a muskie.
What about you guys? What are your favorites?
I've never caught a muskie. That's actually my like bucket list thing.
Yeah.
What you just mentioned is like super bucket list for me.
Yeah.
So I've never caught a muskie. So that's probably a main reason why I want to go up north. But what I love targeting wise, I mean, I never got an opportunity I did once for salmon saltwater fishing, but I never really got an opportunity to really catch the, like you tarpon. Yeah. That'd be kind of cool. But here in Iowa or Central, I would say I think the species I love to target probably would be wipers. Like I said, just for the size, I think they're one of like pound for pound, one of the craziest fish to catch.
Yeah.
So I don't know. How about you, Kit? What's your favorite species to target, and what do you like to fish for?
I gotta go with the wipers. Like for Iowa fish, that's like the fish. Like you said, pound for pound, they fight pretty good. But I'm taking a huge liking to blue catfish. Like we don't have them in Iowa, so I've been traveling down to Kansas trying to catch those blue catfish. Yeah, because they get like.
They get big.
30, 40, 50, 60 pounds.
Well, blues are the ones that hit 100 pounds, aren't they? If you're going to catch 100-pound catfish.
Yeah, they can hit 100 pounds.
Yeah, that's wild.
Do you guys have it? You guys don't have blue catfish up there, though, right?
No, there's just channel cats. Yeah, where we're at.
You guys got some.
Like I've heard stories of like the odd blue cat showing up in the Red River, but it's basically just channel cats. Yeah.
You guys got some big channels up there, though.
They call it the channel catfish capital of the world. Like the Red River, that stretch north of Winnipeg to Lake Winnipeg. I just did a video there, a couple of weeks ago, and you catch as many as you want. Like it's pretty incredible, and they're all 15 to 25 pounds sort of thing. So you get spoiled. Like I'll go catfishing once or twice a year and I'm like, okay, I'm good for the year. I got my catfish fix, you know?
Yeah. If anybody's listening to this and or watching this, I'll put that link that what Jay's talking about. That was a pretty cool video because those channels were huge, man.
Oh yeah, and they're just all that big. That wasn't like an out of the, you know, that wasn't a wild day. That was just a day on the Red River, you know?
It looked like your dad had fun, man.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, Dad, I need someone to come reel in fish. So it was perfect. I got a film. I just, you know, I stood back and I reeled in a couple, but it was mostly my dad. So
yeah, that was pretty cool. And then speaking of, when you film, when you're out fishing and stuff, it's just you, right? I mean, or do you have somebody else that's, you know?
So like Thrive Visuals is my production company, and I just have one editor. His name's Nick Entz, and he crushes a lot of the stuff. Like things I could film, I don't know if every day, but I could film a lot, but it's the editing that just takes so much time. Like that one day on the Red River, that one morning, it was half a day on the Red River, and that could take probably 3 days to edit. Wow. So it's just like instantly, then that means I can only get out fishing once or twice a week, which I know is still great, but not as many videos as I want to make. So Nick is, he prefers to edit more than shoot, which is like super great. He's like the perfect fit for that, and he's just so good at it, right? It's just like I want to get better at shooting, he wants to get better at editing, so it's a good team for that. And I'll still edit sometimes when we're really backlogged. Like right now I'm editing a couple vlogs, he's editing a couple vlogs, which is great. But yeah, it's tough. Like big props to all the guys that just do it by themselves, but like even some of the Googans right now, like I know John B is a guy. A lot of the guys have kind of people behind the scenes that film for them, but most of the time I'm self-filming. I kind of set it up in a way that some of the drone stuff and all the slow-mo stuff will be me filming, and then the vlog style stuff, kind of anyone could just pick up the camera and it's all autofocus, auto setting, so it's pretty easy for someone just to pick it up and at least film someone reeling in the fish. So
yeah, and I my whole heart respect for it, because I started this the business of MaPop fishing, and I was just going to use YouTube as more of marketing, just kind of getting the name out. It wasn't anything I'm going to create videos or anything for. I just put this one on, and then when I started editing, just a freaking podcast. Okay, just guys talking. Okay,
so
a lot. I was like, what? How hard could that be? Holy. It was hard, man. I was like, when I started editing, I was like, all right, no wonder this stuff takes forever. No wonder YouTube, when people say, yeah, just film and put that stuff on YouTube and edit, it's not that simple.
Until you start doing it, it's just like people have no idea the editing behind it.
No. And that's why I was telling Kit, because you know when he started his channel, I was like, how hard could it be? And then when I did it, I was like, okay, I understand now. There's a reason why it took you so long to get a 10-minute video. It took you that long. I totally get that, and I totally have total respect for you guys in the industry and everything on that. So so if people are looking to get YouTube, by the way, if anyone listening or watching, it's very time consuming when it comes to editing. If you want it done right, you know, to your liking and everything. So but have fun with it. That's at the end of the day, I think, because I don't care, man. I re-listen to our podcast, and I just, you know, we're just talking smack, having beer, and I actually enjoy it. So it's actually fun to me. So it's not a big deal. But but like you said, though, it surprisingly took days to edit stuff. I was like, what? Why?
If you're not passionate about it, you're not going to do it. You know, you've got to have the passion behind it, and that's how these guys can pull it off. That's how you get these guys doing it by themselves that can just grind and edit and shoot and edit and shoot and edit and shoot, and you know, you get burnt out on editing after a while. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Well, let me ask you, Jay. So, like, having somebody edit for you, how does that work? Do you like pay them a salary, or is it per video, or how does that work?
Like he works X number of hours a week for me. Did that make sense? Yeah. So he's kind of like on a contract with me.
Oh, okay.
So he'll just work 40 hours a week. So he can still, you know, work for other people, but he just he edits for me, and he does like some stuff for other people here and there. But he most of the work's editing stuff for Thrive, and yeah, no, it's good, but it's just like you need to be organized to have, you know, someone editing, right? Because I always need to make sure that he has the next video to edit, and I'm always like planning, and then all of a sudden, you know, you don't have a video for him, and it's like, oh no, I need to go shoot one as soon as possible, or try to keep him busy. So it's someone to always, you know, something to always keep in the back of your mind, right?
Keep your catching cooks with Sam, by the way. They're pretty. No, they're good. Hey, I like it. I like learning, seeing new stuff. Hey, by the way, I got a cop. I don't know if you sold out yet of your what's it, catch and cook batters.
Everything's right beside me. I didn't plan any of this, but yes, there you go.
I was gonna order. I gotta order some of those because I was talking to my wife because today, the other day, we just actually I went fishing with Kit and we caught some catfish and
Nice.
we ran out of batter. So
There you go. Order some up. There's so our batter's actually shipping from Minnesota right now. That's where the mill's making
really?
it. That's what some people don't know, because when Josh and I started the business, we were like, well, you know what? 60, I could, like I said on YouTube, I could see about 60% of the people that watch my videos are from the States.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, you know what? We may as well just do it in the States for now, and then we'll get a Canadian distribution place as well. But so right now it's made in Minnesota. We're kind of looking at next steps, but we're almost sold out of like our first 2 batches, which kind of surprised both of us. And now we've probably got, I don't know, 70 bags left. So we'll see. And I got to tell you guys, so we just filmed a video. I put it live right before this podcast. Today, my buddy Josh and I, my partner in Catch and Cook, we filmed what we think is the world's fastest catch and cook. Okay. So we had the stove in the boat. Josh was ready with the frying pan. He had the oil hot. I found a school of walleyes. I was spot locked with the trolling motor. And we said, okay, we're going to start the timer. And from when the lure hits the water until the first piece of fish is in my mouth, that's what we're counting as our time. So I dropped the jig to the bottom. I had a walleye in the boat in under 7 seconds.
Whoa.
And then I filleted it. I gave it to Josh. He battered it. He deep fried it. And I ate the first bite of fish at 2 minutes and 5 seconds. It was like still kicking in my mouth.
You got to keep oh yeah.
So that's the video, and I want to see you guys beat that. If you guys are new to Catch and Cook, we kind of challenge people at the end of the video. We're like, game on. I want to see somebody try to beat that, right? Because my fish filleting could have been faster, but we couldn't have caught the fish any faster. We got super lucky with that. But the fish filleting, I lost a couple seconds, and if the oil was hotter, it would have cooked faster too. So like, I think someone could do it in probably like a minute 50 seconds, maybe a minute 45. But
so do you start the timer when you're fishing, or do you start the timer when you catch the fish?
No, when I'm fishing.
Oh.
So I dropped it down, and my first drop of the lure, I was using a jigging wrap, so like a really heavy bait. It hit the bottom. I lifted up in 20 feet of water, and the first lift of the jig, I had a walleye on.
Wow.
And so the video just went up. So I edited it. As soon as I shot it, I'm like, I need to edit this right away and get this online, because it was pretty funny. So,
dude, I don't think I can tie my lure in less than that time, man. Holy cow.
And it was funny because it's the type of thing that, like, if it didn't happen, I would have just reeled up and we would have restarted the timer, right? But it was literally the first drop, the first try. And I was like, okay, this is meant to be. So it was a lot of fun. Josh and we had a good day.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I can't wait to see that video. But I saw that because I was talking to my wife. I go, yeah, I'm going to order some. I just want to try it. I like trying out new batters, and that's pretty cool. And see, that's why, I got to get you on my other podcast.
I'm entrepreneurial. I'm always thinking.
Exactly.
I was like, fish batter, I could see, and Josh is the more chef side of things, Josh McFadden, and I'm like more on the fishing side of things. So I'm like, this would be a pretty good fit. So we're really excited to see where it's going to go. We don't know if like the next step is going to be putting into stores or doing online distribution, things that I'm sure you know all about. But lots to think about. But just the initial response has been, very humbling for Josh and I. So we'll see what's next. But
hey, that's awesome, man. Hey, you just keep grinding, and you know how it goes. It's just the grind, man. So
yeah, exactly.
So ice fishing season's coming up, man. So what do you have in store? I'm just curious. Like, I want to know what do you got in store? Any new species you're going after? Any new lakes? What are you planning on?
I can guarantee you there'll be new lakes. I'm not sure. Like, as far as like on the topic of YouTube, and I've had this conversation many times with people, but on YouTube you can see your statistics throughout the year, like when you gain the most subscribers, when you gain the most views, and it'll be like summertime, and then all of a sudden November, December, January, February, it'll just be a massive spike. I'll gain more subscribers in November, December than I'll gain in the rest of the year probably.
Really?
So it's wild, and I think it's because there's a couple of reasons. One of them, we have such a long ice fishing season. So we have safe ice most years sometime in November until sometime in April.
Damn.
So that's a long ice season. Your ice season is probably like 2.5 months, right? Probably like January, February sort of thing.
I mean, we're lucky we will get it in December, early December if we're lucky.
Yeah.
And then I would say, what do you think, Kit? Probably end of February, March. We're pushing it in March, in my opinion.
I'd say January to March is like our average
Like
season.
like perfect. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
About 3 months at best, give or take.
So we've got incredible fishing, which is like a big factor. People want to they want to watch Canadian ice fishing. We've got a longer season. So I'm putting up ice fishing videos in November, and you guys are like 2 months away from ice yet. So for people that are getting pumped, it's an easy thing for them to watch. Another thing, ice fishing's a good amount of work. And I think some people just love watching ice fishing and would rather watch it than do it. So it's like, I think that's fun to watch. And then I think the last factor is there's just not that many people making YouTube ice fishing videos because it is a little more work. It's harder on your gear. You maybe need to have a snowmobile, which is a little more niche as well. So it's just, I think all those factors is just like, that's why I've seen so much growth. And that's why I do love ice fishing, but it's also just from a YouTube side as well. And just, trying to make a go of it. It's like, I need to go super hard in ice fishing season. Like I'll probably slow down a little bit for open water fishing because once October, November hits, people are thinking about ice fishing. They're not thinking about open water fishing anymore. So it's like, I could be filming musky videos or I could be getting ready for ice fishing season. So it's like, most people say, oh, film musky videos, but
No, that totally makes sense. You're right about that because November comes, we have no ice. You're right. I'm looking at you two like, get me excited, man. Let's see what you got. And then you're right. You guys are recording, and oh man, yeah.
And it's crazy because it's just like last year was like a race between Aaron and myself, and Clayton was on the ice really early too. But like I drove like 12 hours, 10 hours north to find ice. Aaron drove way north, so we're like. Because typically the first video or two you post of the year just pops off because it's just it's early and everyone's excited and it's just like you can't get on the ice soon enough. So it's funny. I mean, you also got to be a good role model and be safe with ice safety and everything, right? So that's something always in the back of my mind is just like, is this really worth it? Because I'm comfortable breaking through the ice. I've broken through the ice and I know how to get out, and I'm not worried if that situation happens. But for a rookie angler to just run out on the ice because I saw Jay Siemens do it and break through, I would never want to have that, on my conscience that I maybe influence somebody to do that. So it's like, there's always the safety, the ice picks, a floating suit, chiseling your way out. So, but I'll feel comfortable on 3 inches of ice. Someone else might not feel comfortable on 3 inches of ice. And that's kind of your own decision to make too, right?
Yeah, I think I would be a little nervous because I'm not the slimmest cat, so I'll definitely be a little nervous.
They're gonna send you out first on the ice. Yeah, we're gonna send Grandy out first to check. Yeah,
they would.
If he's good, we're all good. Yeah.
My friends would. By the way, you can ask it. They'll be like, "Go, you go first.
Yeah.
If you can make it, we all can make it."
Man,
I'm a little lighter on my feet.
See what I gotta deal with.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things because I'm super excited ice wise because my brother-in-law's really got me into it. I had no idea about ice fishing because they really got because I used to live in California and there's no ice there, obviously. No. And then when I because they live in Colorado and they really got us into it, and I was like, holy cow, you totally missing a whole season. You know what I mean? In a way, and I think we completely. I'm infatuated with ice. I love it. I love ice fishing now. I completely love it. It's just one of those things. And then seeing your guys' videos is pretty inspiring, my friend.
Thank you.
I have to say that.
We've got incredible ice fishing. We're just spoiled for ice fishing. We know it.
I guess another one I wanted to ask you, man. Are you guys going to do 39 hours season 3?
Season 3, man. That's like... It took, I'm trying to think how many years it was between season 1 and season 2, but it was
long.
A lot of discussion with Aaron and I think it was 3 years between them, maybe 4. Man, I did a podcast a week ago and it was the same question. Season 3.
Sorry.
No. It's like, it's just a common question and that's good. That means season 2 is good if people are asking about season 3, right? I take it as a compliment. COVID just completely threw a wrench into everything. So there was like, there's always discussions on the table. We're always chatting and brainstorming and who knows. And I think everyone wants to do season 3. The stars need to align again. Stars aligned for season 2. Everything worked out. I think I learned a lot. I enjoyed, I had more of a producer role helping out with season 2. Nick, Thrive editor, edited most of it. And Aaron and I did some editing as well. But it was just good to be, on the other side and help the planning of that. So, I mean, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see a season 3 happen, but Yeah, who knows? It's things will just have to fall into place. And
Yeah. No, it makes sense. We got to see how, like you just said about COVID, it's just
yeah,
totally changed life.
yeah, and it
I mean, for
involves
every,
it involves so much travel too. So it's just
yeah.
we need to watch that, because we need to just wait till that settles. So we'll see.
Yep.
I'd love
Cool.
to have a season 3 happen.
Yeah. By the way, yeah,
It'd
you
be
guys
badass.
did awesome. No, it was fun watching you guys. It's pretty darn interesting. Congratulations on winning, by the way.
Thank you. You know what? When we went into that, I'm just like, Aaron, obviously I want to win, but I just want this to be a good production. Like from a producer role, I'm just like, I want this to come together. I want it to be entertaining for people, because I love winning as much as anybody, but I'm just thinking about the greater good of, the whole project. And I couldn't have been much happier with it.
No, because I watch a lot of Uncut Angling. I know he's been completely busy and everything. I was just wondering, like, he didn't post as much, he didn't, upload as much content on YouTube.
Yeah.
Something like that. Does that affect things? I don't know. I mean, what do you think? I'm just curious in regards
In what
to
way do you mean affects things?
the growth.
The growth. So here's the thing about Aaron's videos is that I don't want to ever. I can talk about Alex Pear because he's a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
But like in Aaron Weeb video, Aaron's always been like on the artist scale of things. He's like a perfectionist. He's an artist, right? So when Aaron puts out a video, it's going to be a banger, right?
Yeah.
Alex is more of a businessman, right? He knows that you put a lot of videos, it's better for your growth. It's better for everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Aaron was never a person to just put out a bunch of videos. I think Aaron's videos, I think he's still getting growth because his videos are just classics, right? So it's just like, you can go back and watch season 1. And you might not have that same feeling of some of Alex's videos. No offense, Alex, if you watch this. But like, yeah, some of Alex's videos, I'm sure he would cringe about too. He'd be like, maybe I should have uploaded that, right? Because he was just like, I need to upload today. This is what I'm going to do. I got to upload 2 times a week. So there's an interesting, business to artist scale of the whole world as well. And I'm sure on the entrepreneurial side of things, it's just like, it's not easy to make a living, in the fishing YouTube world. And it's the dream for a lot of people. And it's just like, there's not one specific route. It's all little pieces of the pie. It's just like, so it's an interesting thing. And I think Aaron is still, people are still watching the videos. His channel's still growing and stuff. And when he does put it out, everyone's watching it. So,
yeah,
I mean,
no,
I think everyone wants Aaron to upload more, right? As soon as he uploads one, that's the comment, right?
That's what I want. Yeah, no, that's exactly what I want. Because no, you're right. I'd probably go back and watch his videos, especially the one with the crappie one where he hit I still, till this day, I tell people about it. The one that, he cut the deer hair.
Yeah.
Those
Incredible.
slabs.
Incredible.
Dude, 16, 15-inch crappies. And then, no, like you're just saying, though, the video, that, I want to say, it's yeah.
It's got a couple million views. Yeah.
There you go. And I tell everybody, go check this video out.
Yeah.
Of Uncut Angling. This is probably the greatest ice fish. It's to the point where you think it's almost fake. It's so damn good. No, the video is so damn good. I was just like, no, you're right. And I appreciate that. That. And that's why I wanted to ask you, because, you're in the realm of the world to kind of know where do you find that fine line? But I think it's something like you were just saying, you just got to be yourself and just know.
Yeah. You got to do your own thing.
Yeah, do your own thing. That's kind of cool. So I don't know, man. Anything else you got for Jay here? We've been talking for over about an hour. I'm sorry, Jay. Hey, we kept you over. I'm sorry.
No, this is good. This has been great.
Hopefully you're having fun. Hopefully.
Hey, man, this is great.
You got a couple Asian guys from Iowa talking to you about beer fishing, man.
Hey, it's fantastic. And we hadn't chatted before at all, so we had lots to chat about. It was good.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's just one of those things where I think I agree with you. I think YouTube's gonna blow up. I think it's a lot of people were like, they were talking to me. I was talking to somebody about this on my other podcast, and they're like, they thought it had hit the pinnacle. I don't know. It's gonna keep growing.
You've seen nothing yet, yeah.
See nothing yet, and I think even like podcasting, all this is all gonna grow.
Podcast is huge growth right now because people are so busy. They wanna consume media and they want to do other things. So you can listen to a podcast while driving. That's when I consume a lot of podcasts, is when I'm driving, right? So
yeah, and I think it's gonna keep growing. I think social media. How's that? What do you think about that? Like everything from like Instagram, Facebook. Do you think that's kind of getting pushed it aside a little bit, or you think that's still going to keep going in the same
Oh, it's
direction?
going to keep going. It's just going to keep evolving. I know people are going to have their pushback, and I think like everything has its ebbs and flows. TikTok is the future right now. I know people are like, it's funny because here's the trend how it goes. People are like, I'm never going to go on Facebook. And then all of a sudden they're on Facebook and their kids on Instagram. Like, I'm never going to go on Instagram. And they're always one generation. You're always one generation behind. And I'm like, I'm never going to go on TikTok. And then I'm like, no, I should be on TikTok. So I started posting some TikToks because it's like, people get onto the platform 5 years late and they're like, man, it's so tough to grow on YouTube. I wish I could just get some more subscribers. And it's like, dude, you thought YouTube was a joke 5 years ago and now you're trying to grow your channel on it, right? So it's the same thing with TikTok. It's like, everyone's like, it's only young kids on TikTok. But I'm like, no. Those young kids are going to be the people that are 20 years old that are actually, it's always one behind, right? So I'm just like trying to stay with it enough. My focus is like by far on YouTube right now, because the thing about YouTube is you're getting, can you hear my cat in the background?
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's Rudy. The thing about YouTube is you can get someone's attention for 20 minutes or 40 minutes. Or with a podcast, you get someone for an hour, which is incredible because time is so precious. Instagram is great, but you get someone's attention for 5 seconds or 2 seconds for them to read your post and they're on. So I don't know.
That makes
sense.
We'll see. But TikTok's in.
So I gotta make a TikTok.
Are you on TikTok yet?
Not yet, but I'm about to make one.
Tonight's your first TikTok.
All right, I'm on it.
Jay said you got to get. I started one for MaPop fishing. I was just
nice.
messing around, just playing around with it. But you're right. It's surprisingly people actually started slowly attracting to it. It's kind of crazy, but
and people are so creative on it. You watch that stuff.
It is.
It's like, man, I need more creativity in my life. Yeah.
No, you're right. The creativity that comes out of just whether it's kids or not, it's amazing, man. It's definitely pretty cool. Before I forget, I almost forgot. See, my kids were gonna kill me on this.
Questions for your kids, yes.
Kids and my wife. It was actually just one because so we went to Vancouver and I got reamed on this because they wanted to see the Northern Lights.
Yep.
So we went there in Vancouver last year, and it was surprisingly the Northern Lights showed up at 3 a.m. when everybody was sleeping. So, of course, everybody woke up next morning, found out about that, and I got yelled at, okay? I got blamed. Because I should have known, when it's going to show up. Do you get to see that often there? And if you do, when? And the reason being, I have to plan a trip to try to get them an opportunity because it's beyond a bucket listing for my wife and I, we've been married over 12 years. So she's like, this is a true bucket listing. It's just one of those things she just wants to see, sit out there and have an opportunity to see. I'm just curious.
Yeah. I would say best time is probably like March. I would say February, March when it's cold and clear. That's when it's just the clearest too. When it's really cold, I don't know the physics behind it but apparently it's clear. And I mean, the farther north you go, the better it gets. So I've been at fishing lodges up north and it's just absolutely stunning, but you can get them further south, like near the border, but the conditions have to be right. You have to be away from city centers and all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to go trying to see them, the best place that a lot of people go in Canada, they fly into Yellowknife in Northwest Territories.
Yellowknife. Okay.
And it's the farthest north international airport in Canada. So it's an international airport and they do all sorts of Northern Lights tours there. Like that would be one of the easier places to go because you can fly right in and they cater to that.
Cool. All right.
Random fact that might have to be cut out of the podcast. I don't think it's that bad. Supposedly in Asian culture, it's good luck if you conceive a child under the Northern Lights.
Whoa. I got 4 daughters.
Do you want a couple more?
Jay, 7, 5, 3, and 7 months.
Wow.
That's how insane.
You're busy.
I'm busy.
You're busy.
So, and they're all girls. I got 4 daughters. Once again, 7, 5, 3, 7 months. And I started a new business and I'm trying to start 2 new podcasts at the same time all year.
You're crazy. Yeah, you probably don't need any more children.
But that's an interesting fact. But
you'll have to do some Googling on that. I've heard that. I've heard that from multiple people, yes.
I'm going to have you made her day because that was a question. She goes, you're talking to a guy from Canada, that Jay guy? I go, yes. He's going to talk to us. He goes, you better ask him, honey. You better ask him because we're going to plan a trip. She wants to go see.
That's great.
So thanks, man. You made you made my.
That's great.
We'll plan around that. So
awesome.
You got anything else for Jay Kit? You got other? I know you had tons of questions. I don't know if I just kind of hijacked the whole thing because I was super excited to talk to this guy.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here absorbing everything. I think you hit all the notes that I wanted to hit too.
All right, cool. So, other than that, man, like I said, Jay, I definitely appreciate your time.
Hey, no problem.
Hopefully anybody's listening and watching this, they gain a little bit of knowledge, because I sure as hell did. Like I said, I'm not the greatest fisherman, but I totally appreciate and love fishing. And I respect it, and every little tidbit that I learn, it's just something.
That's the beauty of it. You're never done learning. I'm learning all the time, and that's why I love fishing and getting on the water with other people, because you always pick up a little thing here and there. And yeah,
that's true, man. So like I said, to me, it's when I talk to even Kit, people that we have on our podcast and everything, it's a learning experience for me, and I'm growing. And at the end of the day, I just appreciate every second, every minute of it, man. That's why I started this whole thing.
That's great. Yeah,
just to learn more about fishing, get into it. It's my passion. I love it. So, like you said, man, thanks so much for just giving us the opportunity, brother.
Hey, no problem. Let's do it again. And come up to Canada once that border opens up.